Hello and welcome to the StudyTravel TV studio here in London, where the mercury is hitting 27 degrees today. I'm Clarissa Waldron.
And I'm Charlotte Darrell. It's great to have you with us today. Our headlines this week: New Zealand's international education sector at record levels.
Australia introduces agent data sharing legislation.
Trump travel ban defeated in court again.
So we start with positive trends from New Zealand, which set records again last year.
That's right, data released this week by Education New Zealand, or ENZ, shows the country experienced a 6% growth in international student numbers last year, to a new peak of more than 131,000 students.
China was again the largest sender of students to New Zealand, with 38,000 students, which accounted for around half of the growth.
Though India was the second largest source country, numbers fell by 3% from previously to 28,000 students, and ENZ attributed this to recent visa changes. However, both Indian and Chinese students accounted for half of all international students across New Zealand.
Growth was seen across most parts of the industry. The university sector was the largest segment and experienced a 6% increase in international students, while the English language sector saw a 19% increase.
Welcoming the data, ENZ Acting Chief Executive John Goulter said that it was an impressive outcome and showed that New Zealand was increasingly seen as a place that offered quality education in a safe, welcoming environment.
In neighbouring Australia, the government is to allow education providers to access performance data on agents, and in a change to the previously outlined draft bill, agent consent will not be required.
The Education Legislation Amendment Bill 2017 was given a second reading in Parliament last week. Among the changes is the introduction of reporting on agent performance, using data on agent involvement in enrolments gathered since 2012, including areas such as visa grants, refusals, and student completion rates.
Previous drafts of the bill included an opt-out clause, meaning that an agent's consent would be required to access the information. However, the final version of the legislation appears to include no opt-out.
Phil Honeywood, CEO of the International Education Association of Australia, said that there was no doubt that agents played a significant role and that reporting on performance would promote greater transparency and accountability.
And we move now to the United States, where Donald Trump has suffered another defeat in court over his proposed travel ban.
Thankfully, the courts can still hold him accountable. The US Appeals Court has upheld a previous ruling by judges in Hawaii blocking the ban. The revised executive order, which Trump issued in March, would have stopped travel from Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen for 90 days. This new ruling means that student visas can be issued to nationals of those countries.
In its decision, the appeal court said Trump had exceeded his authority in issuing the ban. However, the matter is not yet settled, as the president has already made an appeal to the Supreme Court.
Interestingly, damage to the international education sector, both in terms of lost tuition fees and non-monetary academic losses, was one of the main reasons cited by the state of Hawaii in its successful appeal against the revised ban in March.
And now a roundup of some of the other news stories this week. Pathway provider Shorelight Education has announced a deal with the University of Dayton in Ohio, USA, to assist international students onto degree programs at the university, its 13th partnership in the country.
The University of Birmingham has announced that it will open a new campus in Dubai International Academic City, the first UK Russell Group university to establish a presence in the city, it said.
International university students in China will be required to take Chinese language lessons, and some will need to take Chinese political theory classes, according to a Ministry of Education decree issued last week.
And integration, struggling to understand expectations, overwhelming writing tasks, and professor bias towards local students are issues faced by higher education students in the USA, according to research by Pathway and English language provider ELS Education Services.
And that's all the latest news from us for today. You can find additional reporting on these stories over at www.studytravel.network.
Thank you for tuning in from everyone here at STTV. We're off now to enjoy the sun. See you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.